What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for the Wolverhampton Wanderers Manchester City match analysis. So we're going to crack on with the video, but first, just wanted to say, if you could support my channel, subscribe with your notifications on, that'd be great. So we're going to crack on with the video. So we're going to start off with Man City's team first. Man City took a risk by changing not only the side and making a couple of changes, but they also changed the formation. We went with 3 at the back last time, or 5 at the back, however you want to look at it. This time we've gone with what we went with last season, which is a 4-3-3, sorry. I called for Man City to go with 5 at the back in my preview. It worked very well. It utilises Benjamin Mendy, who I thought was a bit nulled in this game. I think a back 3 or a back 5 suits him a lot better than what it does in a flat back 4. I thought that, Pep Guardiola took a risk there. I thought that Manchester City looked a lot better last week than what we have done all of the other games that we've played this season. It's a very dominated performance last week against Huddersfield. We packed the midfield. It worked well. Everything seemed to have clicked, so I wanted to see it away from home, see if we could repeat it. I wish that they had now, because I've had my answer, because at the moment I'm left wondering if 4-3-3 is the way forward for Manchester City. Thought Stone's very unlucky to be dropped in this game. Obviously, the change of formation means that he has to make way, and they're going to send, I think it was Raheem Sterling up front instead. A bit of a risky there. I thought John Stones has been excellent, along with Aymeric Laporte. Vincent Kompany ends up coming into this game, who, let's face it, didn't have the greatest of games. But there we go, thought very unlucky. So we'll crack on with what happened during the game. So Wolves, they ended up doing near enough what they did last season at the Etihad, which was to sit deep, allow Manchester City to come forward, and then when they do come forward, last season when we faced Wolves in the Carabao Cup, Wolves went forward with 2 or 3 players. This time they went forward with 5 or 6, which is what made Wolves so dangerous in this game. They've gone with the same lineup as what they have for the first 2 games, so they're obviously trying to gel the whole side there, which seemed to have worked very well for them. The crowd looked motivated. Wolves winning the ball, very important, and particularly in the first half, how dominant Wolves were in getting control of the ball in the middle of the park. Now, they weren't allowing Manchester City any space. They were looking out wide. Back to my point that I was making, that because they've gone with a flat 4, Benjamin Mendy, and obviously you could have gone with Kyle Walker if they wanted to put him over there, hog the touchline. Instead, they've had to cut in a little bit, kind of make up that space. Benjamin Mendy obviously been told to hold back just a little bit, and ended up not utilising Benjamin Mendy. So obviously Man City's balls are always going to go through to the centre, and Wolves' centre absolutely superb in this game, and ended up nailing Manchester City around. So it took 20 minutes or so for the game really to get going. 20 minutes, Wolves had a goal ruled out, which was a correct decision in ruling it out for offside. It was a brilliant counter-attack football. I thought that, I can't remember who scored the goal, but I thought he should have been a lot better in the position that he was in, to clumsily allow himself to stray around half a yard to a yard offside. Pretty poor, and honestly, big opportunity that one for Wolves, and it seemed to have given Manchester City that little kick that was needed, because just a couple of minutes later, ball was played in. Wolves' defence, who were a bit wayward at times. The midfield was excellent. The defence, in my opinion, was a little bit questionable, allowing Aguero such space to be able to twist and turn and fire a low shot onto the post. Sergio Aguero probably thought he should have scored. It was a good effort off the outside of the post, a little bit disappointing. Then a couple of minutes later, Raheem Sterling ends up chesting a controlled ball, half volley, ended up having a good shot. Fantastic save by Rui Patricio to tip it onto the crossbar. So we sent it into half-time 0-0. It was disappointing that Man City was struggling to break it down. Man City didn't look comfortable in this game. They didn't look at their best. Like I said, they looked fantastic in both halves in the last game against Huddersfield, when they were playing back to the formation we played at the beginning of last season. There's not a lot wrong with what we were playing, so why they've changed it, I don't know. But when you change things, you're always running that risk that if things don't work out, you're going to have to take responsibility for that one. So if Manchester City in our next game against Newcastle, my presumption would be that they should revert back to how we played against Huddersfield, because Newcastle, I imagine, are going to be able to set up the same as what Huddersfield are, and it worked so well in that game. Try and play it again. This one just didn't seem to be clicking, didn't seem to be working. The players didn't seem to be their usual selves. So my presumption, these are my notes I wrote at half-time, that Wolves looked very good. I've written very good there. They looked fresh, they looked motivated, crowd were behind them. They looked very good in the middle of the park. Ruben Neves looked comfortable, but they were dictating everything. Joao Moutinho had a very good game in this game too. Man City, sloppy and wayward passing is what I've added on a note there. So very sloppy in possession of the ball. Vincent Kompany 2-3 times where he gave the ball away, not even under pressure, just gave it away to Wolves' attack. really poor. David Silva didn't look like his usual self in this game. Fernandinho didn't look like his usual self in this game. Benjamin Mendy didn't look like his usual self in this game, but his biggest attribute is going forward and attacking, and Man City were holding him back. His defending is always questionable. That's why I said 5 at the back always suits him. They might have been better going with Delph, in my opinion. Perhaps if they wanted to go for a little bit more of an organised defence and passing it into midfield rather than not, because Benjamin Mendy didn't really look like he was involved. But wayward passing, it was frustrating that we've got John Stones, one of the best defensive passers in world football at this moment in time, sat on the bench, and you've got Vincent Kompany giving away a couple of wayward passes. The throw-ins in this game, really poor. I think there was 3 foul throws. You don't normally get any foul throws in a game. 3, I counted, I think 5 that should have been foul throws. A couple of them weren't given. I thought the officiating in this game, I'll get onto that in a bit, but officiating in this game extremely poor and extremely inconsistent for both sides. So our last note was Man City need to be more clinical. Wolves, though, very, very good. They'll be happy at half-time, and they'll be even more happier at 57 minutes. Corner gets given, Joao Martinho works a 1-2, gets a lovely ball in. The ball, I think, just gets flicked on, which makes goal scorer Bowley offside. It isn't given. Instead, he misses his header as he's going to ground. Obviously, you're going to put your hands onto the floor when you're going down. The ball strikes his arm, takes it past Ederson, and goes into the back of the net. So we've got 2 controversial incidents there, and I've got 3 simple letters. VAR. Worked so well at the World Cup. There's very few doubts. Penalties it's a bit iffy on, but factual stuff, you're asking is it offside? If it's come off his forehead, so VAR would be able to clarify if it has or not. Then you'd be able to say that it's offside, and that would be given. That's the end of the matter there. And then you get, referee could easily go and have another look at the big screen, or the little screen, should I say. You can go and have a look at that and see if he judges that to be handball, and would end up with a better decision. Knowing Premier League referees, because we had the world's best referees, none from the Premier League, by the way, at the World Cup, but because they had the best referees, normally 9 times out of 10 the correct decisions were given. You know, now look, VAR would get introduced into the Premier League. The referee, Martin Atkinson, would go and have a look and he'd go, yeah, actually, yeah, that's perfectly fine, goal given, when in actual fact it really shouldn't have been given. But there we go, Wolves are ahead. Dare I say that they deserved it. I didn't think they looked as good or anywhere near as good in the second half, but from the first half performance, if that goal came in the first half, I'd say fully deserved it completely. 69 minutes. Bit of justice for Manchester City. It made me feel good, this one. Beautiful ball in from a set piece, from a free kick from Gundogan. Why didn't have Gundogan taking the corners? Because his set piece and free kicks in this game, very good. Whipped in. Bowley at fault in this game. Wasn't strong enough, allowed Laporte to get in front of him, just running at him, just flicks it in, doesn't jump or anything, just bam, hits his head, goes into the back of the net, Pace takes it through. And then from there it was just nullified. Sane came on, Mahrez came on, things weren't happening, things didn't look right, things looked disjointed, things looked disorganised. And it's extremely disappointing that for 20 minutes not a lot happened. Man City got given a free kick in the last kick of the game. Aguero ended up hitting the crossbar from a free kick. It looked a little bit far out to be able to get that dip in over and then under the crossbar. It didn't. Ended up finishing 1-1. Man City take a point. One last note I've added there is 2 points drop for Manchester City. It always is. I'm looking to win every single game. You'd expect Manchester City, bar games of going to places like Stamford Bridge, Old Trafford, Anfield, etc. You'd expect Manchester City to be winning every game, or certainly putting up a better performance than what they did here. I thought very disappointing here from Manchester City. So I'm going to have a look at the stats, because I think that I find this quite interesting, in my opinion, just to see. I want to see the passing ones more than anything. I think that'll be the most interesting here. I'm expecting Man City to dominate possession. So Manchester City ended up having, 71% possession in this game to Wolves' 29% possession. Man City having more shots, 18 shots to Wolves' 11, 6 on target, 2 from Wolves. Faced with that little thing again where a couple of shots are going on target, they end up scoring a goal. Man City ended up making 646 passes at a 90% pass completion rate. I've seen Man City do better, I've seen Man City do worse. It's just when you notice Man City's wayward passing in this game, because they were giving it away in dangerous areas. Wolves ended up having 258 passes at a 68 pass completion rate. Wolves, I imagine they're probably disappointed with that. Going off the midfield, they look like good passers of the ball, look like they're good at working the ball through. They may be disappointed in that, but they're going to take a point at home against Manchester City every day of the week. It's their first point of the Premier League season. They'll be happy with that one. Wolves, just having a look at the stats, they seem to be dominating the defensive stats, whereas Man City seem to be dominating the attacking stats, having more corners, making more dribbles, etc, etc. So the stats is as you'd expect it to be, really. It's just Man City nowhere near at their best, and so they've got to do better. They've got a home match against Newcastle coming up next. They've got to do better. It's plain and simple as that. I'm a little bit fearful that if they're going to be playing like this 4-3-3 in this game going forwards, and we're going to be going to places, we've got Liverpool coming up at the beginning of October, we've got big Champions League games coming up, we've got a big abundance of big games coming up after the international break, that we need to be a lot better. Pep said before the game that Manchester City, the players have been to the World Cup, it's going to take them weeks to get back into the rhythm of things, but they need to get back into the rhythm of things, and quickly, because they just weren't at the paces here. I don't understand how they were phenomenal against Chelsea, Arsenal, Huddersfield. If they got off to a slow start in the game against Chelsea and then it was going into the Arsenal game, then they started to find their feet, I'd understand, but I feel like they found their feet and then they're letting it drop off again. We had a similar result like this last season in that home match against Everton early on, where we ended up dropping points, and it was disappointing, and you could use that as motivation for the Man City players to pick themselves up. What did it was that late goal against Bournemouth. The late goal hasn't come this time in this away game at the end of August for Manchester City. We move on. In my opinion, it's the only thing we can do. I imagine now, by the time of recording this, Man City is still top. By the time that Liverpool get playing and Chelsea get playing, you've got to presume they're going to win. You've got to presume that Man City won't be top of the league come the end of this round. And so they're using it as motivation, these sides will. Man City, they've not got Claudio Bravo. He's out injured for the rest of the season, near enough. We've got no Kevin De Bruyne, who was a huge miss in this. Man City, they've got a lot of problems here to try and iron out. I mean, you might not think they're problems, but I feel like Man City don't know what to do. There's no Kevin De Bruyne there. There's no stability there. They don't know who to play, what to do into the games. And in this game in particular, we've gone up against a side we haven't faced last season. We don't know what they're going to do. I have to question Manchester City, why they've not had a look at how Wolves like to play. They like to play the passing style of football. They've gone forward with 5 or 6 players. They did that so much last season. They're doing it again this season. They weren't scared even in the last minutes. They were sending Doherty up onto attacks, who's a defender. You know, that was their philosophy. Wolves had a go in this game, and I have every respect for Wolves for that. Wolves, fantastic in this game, fully deserving of their point. We haven't picked up 3 points here because we just simply were not good enough now. We've got to be better next week. Yeah, I'm not concerned. You know, plenty of games still to rectify it. That's the joys of the Premier League. This was like a knockout competition, so if this is like a result in the Champions League, you'd have a lot to say about that. But Man City, they need to learn their lessons, move forward, pick themselves up. Players like Leroy Sané really do need to improve their game. His touches today when he came on, extremely poor, made one good run. He needs to get that more into his game. You know, I'm expecting more from Riyad Mahrez. I'm expecting more from players that are on the pitch, from Vincent Kompany, the experienced Vincent Kompany here. Yeah, I'm expecting more. You want more. They have to do more, because if they don't, they're going to face results like this, and they have to get used to it. We're going to be going up against teams that are going to be gunning for us. We're the Premier League champions. This is everyone's cup final. Man City have to treat every game like their cup final too. Find that level of motivation and look for an attack and score goals. Be clinical. I said they have to be clinical in this game. They weren't, and that's the reason why. It took Laporte to rescue a point for us, really. Disappointing. We move on. So, we'll be back again in the week with plenty more football videos and Manchester City videos, so stay tuned for that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments below. That's my presumptions, that's my analysis. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But I think we'll all be in agreement, particularly Manchester City fans, that it is 2 points dropped in this game, but it might be an important point. It might be 2 points dropped, but we might win the Premier League by 1 point. You never know. This could be the game we're looking at. We weren't at our best, though. We need to do better. Links in the description below for my social media, for my email if you want to hit me up with any business inquiries or any promotions or anything like that. Leave links to my second channel, My Brother's Partner channel. You can go and check them out, like and subscribe over there. If you wish, you can go and check out my other videos if you wish to, and I'll see you all again very soon for the next Manchester City video. So I'll see you then. So it's been JSGC. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I've dragged this video on, haven't I? But there's a lot to say. Peace. Ciao for now.